put the crunchy shit on it.
Yeah, I saw it. That's cool.
Let's get the fancy sauce.
Oh, didn't see you guys there.
Oh, hello, YouTube. Good to see you. Welcome back to Denver Beer and Oil.
It's Modelo and sushi time.
And we're doing LS things too. Bet you didn't see that coming.
So we are switching gears. We have decided this. Everybody has their own thing. That's not really what we're about here at Denver Beer and Oil.
That's right.
We're inclusive. So all of the cars will be competing against each other, but not the people building them.
Basically, I got to work this morning and I was like, man, why am I spending all this time and money on that thing when I've got a fucking sweet ass LS1 swap E30 drift truck that isn't even finished yet. So I was like, screw this thing. I'm not going to dedicate all my time to that when this is almost done. So today, I pulled this thing back in, put a new water pump in it, put a new thermostat in it, went through 3 radiators, did some diagnosing. It's still not running great, but I'm working on it. Anyway, long story short, I'm going to try to finish this thing up. I'm going to put most of my time and effort into this so I can get it done. And we can do way more drift truck stuff on the channel in the future because let's be honest, this thing's rad. It just needs like a lot of attention. And then Chris and I and everyone else who's involved, Aaron and probably Zach, we are all gonna like quadruple team that thing and just get it done. So that is also my car. I just care less about it right now because I don't really have any like vested interest in it since we've already built one. So I'm gonna try to finish this and then we're all gonna teamwork, build that thing because Chris's is pretty much done. It just needs an ignition system.
You guys see that video?
It's pretty dope.
So we did some research last night and I figured out I need something called wasted spark. It's where instead of having a single coil, I end up with 3 coil packs that run 2 cylinders each. And they're not able to fire individual cylinders out of the 2, so both are gonna fire at the same time. So you fire the 2 cylinders that are exactly opposing each other. So the one is at bottom dead center when it fires, or around there depending on the timing. So that spark is wasted, and that's why I call it the wasted spark, while the other one is in its correct combustion cycle and blows up.
Very good.
So if you're watching the whole video yesterday, our issues at the end, well, every time that we're good, and then we'd make like 2 hits and it'd be good, and then we'd get the dyno set up to hit, was the coil would just get too hot that it didn't have enough power left to make the spark with that much cylinder pressure at that RPM. Yeah, it was overheating itself. It just didn't, even with that MSD coil, it's just not enough for those 6 cylinders at that boost level.
That's a lot of spark for one coil to produce. It's a lot of energy putting out. Also, side note, sushi is not nearly as convenient to eat on camera as a beer to drink. I will just throw that out there.
But cheers to Will for trying.
I'm doing my best here, guys. Doing my best. But anyway, yeah, so look forward to drifty things. Chris actually just did what I didn't have time to do yesterday. He ripped the manifold off of it. He's doing some boosty things.
I'm about to put head studs
we
in
got a big T4 guy. Oh, you actually going for it?
Yeah, I made a pile.
Okay.
So let's see. So Will was over there, like, saw a whole video of him doing weight reduction. I've taken like actual heavy things out of the car. I took the cat out of the car. That's like a good 60, 70 pounds. I got the AC compressor out, the AC condenser, the exhaust manifolds. This thing, if you didn't watch our other videos, this is like this front cross piece that the radiator and AC condenser sits on. And we're gonna do this car exactly the same way we did the other car. So we need to remove all that to mount our intercooler, and that way we can still run the stock bumper and have it like look good when it's done. You see a lot of E34s with some haggard shit, and if you've seen the other turbo one, it fits pretty well. So I'm working on that. I still left the power steering cooler in it so that it's still like drivable now, so it's not shooting power steering fluid everywhere, because I'm not going to put an intercooler in it today. If you've seen the big dent intercooler in my car, that's just going to go in here so Will can have a free one, because I bought the same $200 eBay kit for my car. So I'll give him the piping that comes in that one, I'll keep the intercooler, and he can have the dent intercooler, which I found out yesterday doesn't leak.
This car is basically just going to be a lot cheaper, shittier version of Chris's car. It may eventually get to that point, but that'll be stuff you guys can look forward to on the channel. We'll do every single mod. Instead of being completely wasted and doing it all in like 4 days, we'll elaborate on how we did everything and what we used and how we did it. So this is just going to be a redux of the original Roadkill car.
And if you want to see any of that, like there's a whole playlist of the 2019 Zip Tie Drags build. I think it's like 6 or 7 videos. And we were a lot more thorough with step-by-step of what we did on that car. So if you're curious about building like the ultimate E34 turbo car quickly, like suspension, diff, brakes, everything, interior, like here's the
also
link.
It's in the description
to
below.
elaborate
And it's in
upon
the description below.
to elaborate upon what he's saying. If Chris and I and Jacob and Hamish can build that car in 3 or 4 days, whatever it was, completely blitz out of our brains and get it done, you guys can do it. This is not rocket science. It may seem intimidating, but I promise you guys at home, this is something you can do. Just don't get in over your head and build a 700 horsepower car if you've never done anything like that before. Get out there and get some practice before you decide to take 700 horsepower to the street, because these things are nasty. I will show you guys how to do Mega Squirt on this car and set it up and do all the configuration and what to do and where to get your files from and all that kind of stuff.
And I will say on that one, that car had good parts on it in every way. Like everything on that car was a good part. And I still want to say everything, including overnighting everything, we were maybe $5,000 into that entire build, including the price of the car. So like you can build one of these into something really awesome very inexpensively.
Yep. Long story short, it's going to be Chris's turbo car versus my LS truck, which is going to be completely NA, and probably I'll just be happy if it goes down the track, which is probably going to be the same thing with Aaron's car. He'll probably just be happy if it makes it down the track.
But it's gone down the track before. So,
it's like frozen.
This car is still all stock E30 suspension and brakes and everything, and that's not gonna work. So we've talked about this in other videos, but it's gonna go 5-lug in the front. What we're gonna end up doing is E36 knuckles non-M, so we can either have bigger brakes like off of an E46, or we can run smaller brakes and still have small wheels. And then the rear, this is gonna be the cool part.
I don't know if anyone's done this before. Maybe one person. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing in the back is, first, I'm going to explain the E30 setup. So basically, you got the subframe right here, and then you've got the trailing arms coming off the subframe, but they sit on spring buckets right here. So basically, the E28 setup uses a true coilover or McPherson strut instead of this dumb trailing arm with a spring perch on it. It gives you no adjustability. It's not that strong. It's just a bad setup. So we're going to have a little bit wider track, bigger hubs, stronger axles, large case diff. Everything is superior about the E28/E24 subframe and trailing arm setup.
Better brake options.
Yep, 5-lug. So there's about a million reasons to do it. And once we figure out how to do it, I think we're probably going to try and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think we'll probably produce the bushings required to do it, because the only difference in the geometry is that this bolt is offset outwards about 5 millimeters. So you need offset, like off-center bushings. So we got to figure that out, make those, and then once we do that, it should be a more or less bolt-in affair. The only thing that I'm concerned about, if and when we swap to it, is this drive shaft working with the new setup. But the flanges are the same, so it should bolt up. As long as the length is the same, we should be able to get away with it. I think this is a new world record. I have 47 different check engine lights right now. That's real life. A lot of them are for the transmission that doesn't exist, but still, I've never seen that many check engine lights in my life. It's awesome.
Will's over there making loud noises, but he's not at the moment, so I thought I'd give you an update. I'm not sure what he's done. I think he has a fan.
I've added a lot of zip ties.
A lot of zip ties. A very, very tiny radiator. Did we show them the really tiny radiator?
Apparently that's going to cool the V8. We'll see. I have my doubts. More zip ties.
So that's a S13 240 radiator. But we've got a buddy, Matt. Well, we'll build that the first time. And that's what he ran for 2 years in his 240 with an LS. So we'll put a fan on it.
It worked okay, so I'm going to trust him.
Anyway, Will and I got these head bolts. Neither of us know where they came from. They were in a car or something, but we didn't have the right nuts or washers for them. They were for a 24 valve, a little bit smaller. So I went down to Fastenal, great company, don't have a whole lot of metric stuff, but they sent us up this little shop down the street, like literally like 6 blocks from us. I hooked us up with some grade 12 nuts. They're not 12 point and they're not flanged. I don't care. And then some really, really high strength washers for a total of $7. So that's what this is getting. So if you're putting head studs in your car, this is a not approved but approved way to do it. If you just take one out at a time and then go full torque spec and then go to the next one, you should be fine not replacing your head gasket or lifting the head or anything. So that is what I'm doing. I will demonstrate one of them for you. So we got one. We just take it out with an impact. I'm saving these washers because they're cool looking. I probably could have used those, but I already bought new ones. So throw away your old head bolt. Don't reuse any BMW head bolts, or probably head bolts from most manufacturers. They're torque to yield and they stretch. So every time you use them, they get weaker and weaker and weaker, and you're not gonna get anywhere good. So buy new ones if you have to. You drop in your stud. ARP studs have a little Allen in them, so you can tighten them. So the real proper way to do this is to clean them out so that you don't have any hydraulic pressure building underneath it. But if you just go really slow, it will dissipate the pressure through the threads. If you were to go really fast, like say running in with an impact or something, you run the risk of building up so much pressure that you can like crack parts of the block. So just go slow.
Stud won't seat all the way and then back in.
Yeah, so then you think it's set, but then the oil drains out and your thing wasn't tight at all. You don't want to bottom out the bolt entirely, and the reason for that is because say when you're tightening the nut down with the washer, if you start to spin the stud at all and there's no more room for it to go, then you also run the risk of cracking things. So either way, just go slow till it gets kind of difficult, like you're actually running into something, and then just like Will said, just put your washer on, you put your nut on, and then I don't really recommend this, but for speed's sake, just blast it with an impact a little bit. If you
Have you ever noticed how we always say, I don't recommend doing this, and then we immediately do it? Like every time.
So if you have a good feel for an impact and know you're not gonna like over torque it or anything, you can save a lot of time with it. So either way, and then I got this set to 75 because that's what ARP calls for on this motor.
I'm a little amazed at this power steering shit that I got back there.
And that's it. The other thing that you would also do, if you're doing this exactly how ARP says, is this will come with like a little thing of assembly grease. Put that between the nut and the washer so that you don't get any friction from the nut tightening on the washer to inflate your torque number. So that your torque wrench clicks, but you actually didn't put that much torque into the threads, you put some of it into friction. Just follow the actual sequence that your head has. Most of them are start in the middle and work your way out. So what I like to do with BMWs, almost all BMW 6-cylinders have 14 head bolts. So there's a center pair. So I'll pick either the top or the bottom in the center and then go one to the left or to the right, doesn't matter, and then go the opposite one the other way, and then go up and then back and then up and then back and then up and then back. So you work your way from the center out. That way that you don't like push the middle of the head or the outside of the head down and then you're trying to like bend the inside, like collapse a bridge. It's way easier to go like that way. Think of it that way. Think of like a board. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm almost done. Not super interesting, but a little bit technical.
And Will's got zip ties and dikes in his hand ready to zip tie some more shit together.
So basically, I started tracking down problems, and I think what it comes down to is how genuinely half-assed I did the wiring on this car. We did the wiring on this car when I first built it, and there's shorts. Like I can't even get the OBD2 to like consistently connect, and it's got all kinds of weird trims on the O2 sensors. So I'm just gonna go through and redo all of the wiring. I think we got ARPs on. Chris got ARPs going. Now we're trying to put manifold on, and then I
put the valve cover back on too.
I'm gonna loosely put a turbo on there just so it looks cool, because for motivational purposes.
All right, I'm gonna do some more removal of stuff, but I need a tool. It's a very precise tool. There it is.
Is that a hammer? Give me a hammer? Oh, I'm a good guesser.
Tool. All right, time to modify.
Dude, whoa, easy there, guy. What if I want cruise control?
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
Wait.
You literally just ruined my cruise control for no goddamn reason.
That's still there.
There's no fucking way that still works. Just smash the fuck out of it with a hammer. Goddamn,
He does bring up a
literally
valid point
no
that it was
reason
still
to destroy it.
there.
All right, next thing.
Hey, what if he wants to keep emissions? Man. Dude, you don't need this either. Get this out. Smash.
This is not working as well as I thought it would.
Smash.
Probably just get a 10 millimeter. As you can see, turbo manifold on.
Okay.
Turbo is sort of on.
I painted things red.
Depends on what the heat absorption is of zip ties before they melt. But if the zip ties will hold up, the turbo's installed.
I got faith.
It's a self-rotating turbo.
Yeah, and it's self-clocking.
Self-clocking.
It's also a Lego turbo. You can
But you
just
see,
do
like,
what you need.
As it sucks, though, it like pulls.
Right,
them
it
in.
uses
You
the
should put a
Venturi
big
effect.
You should put a big Cummins sticker in the
Oh.
window.
Dude,
Oh, fresh air
Should I-
out of the max.
should I do that?
Look, charge
Probably,
camera.
and then we can make it really silly. I could. Maybe I should use an STI top mount because I could just go like this into the top mount. The top mount even has a 90-degree angle on it because Subarus are silly, and then I could just way more efficient
Ooh, if
boost.
that works out, I'm for that.
You could totally do that.
That's a good plan.
That's 100% doable.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You just do a U into an STI top mount into the throttle body. Bam, done. So, video things, did things today. Turbo is on a car, manifold is on a car, head studs are in. So we got to do pretty much everything still. But that car is worse than when it came in. Also, it's basically made negative progress today.
But
excellent.
But hey, here are some burnouts of me in the wagon when I was prepping my car. Thanks for watching.
I'm good with it, whatever.
And like and subscribe if you like the burnouts.
Everyone likes